Our next speaker, our next presenter really needs no introduction, because I think most of you know who he is. He was for 12 years a professor at the MIT Media Lab, and then in 2008 he became the 16th president of the Rhode Island School of Design, where he launched the STEM to STEAM movement. He is the recipient of the 2001 National Design Award in Communications Design, and his artistic works are on display in the permanent collections of the Museum of Modern Art, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, as well as the Cartier Foundation in Paris. Currently, he is global head of design and inclusion. Let me emphasize that once again. Design and inclusion at Automatic, which is the parent company for WordPress. He just last weekend delivered his incredibly impactful Design in Tech report at South by Southwest. This is his 4th annual Design in Tech report, and if you haven't seen it yet, I really strongly encourage you to check it out. Please welcome, from the Northeast, which is snowed in, John Maeda.
Hello. Hello there. Can you see me? Let's see.
Yep. We can see you and hear you.
Can you wave your hand? I can see you too. Okay. I believe that these kinds of presentations are awkward because if I were in the room, I could smell you. I could just high-tech auditorium, so I can see you all the way in the back there. Like, why are you sitting so far back? I mean, I'm not even there. So, just a tip for everyone there for later session: sit closer to the speaker. The front row seats are the best seats in the house, and when you do that, the speaker performs better because they can see you. So, I can see you, so I can perform better. I can't just blah blah blah. So I have over here, let me get a timer on because I'll put 15 minutes on there. Okay, so let's see, that's fine. All right, so first of all, I used to be at MIT and done a few things along the way. And if there's one thing I know that I did wrong all those years is I didn't like talking and blah blah blahing to people, and I think you expect you think that you have all the answers, which is a terrible fallacy. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite you all to text me any questions that you have right over here. So 253-217-4017. Along the way, if you have me, and I will stop the presentation and answer your question. Why is this important? It's important because I think that I have no idea what you're thinking right now. And it also favors introverts who don't get to ask questions. Do you know about that? When there's someone gets up and starts telling their whole CV. What was that? So I'll have to change the scale. So just text me questions and I'll go to get to them. And if I can't get to them during the session, I'll just text back the answer. How's that sound? Raise your hand if that's okay. Is it okay? Good thing? Okay, good. Thank you. So you all have accepted the end user license agreement. Okay. So this is a abbreviated version of the Design and Tech report I will do in the remaining 13 minutes, and I have room for like a few minutes of questions if I'm interrupted. Okay. There are roughly 6 sessions. I've dropped them down to 5. The big headline this year is how often you've had speakers like Fernando Villegas. You've looked back to the history of computer art. You've covered so much at this symposium. And one topic you're hearing over and over is that it's amazing and it's a problem. And that problem is manifest in the fact that these experiences are accessible to so many people. And the Design and Tech reports have chronicled this for the last 3 years, now 4 years. I have long versions. I have shorter versions. If you want a micro version, it's very simple. In 2015, I began connecting design to the business impact. In 2016, I framed 3 kinds of design. And this was in last week's Time magazine. So basically, it's jumped the shark. So this framework, for all of its flaws, seems to be sticking. Classical design, design thinking, and computational design are 3 kinds of designs making an impact. And in 2017, last year, I put a spotlight on inclusive design as being an important way to grow a market. Now, you might ask, why am I framing it as a business opportunity? It's because I think that the social justice angle is vital and important, but it isn't making an impact on businesses. And so everything I do is framed in business language with an attempt for inclusive design to achieve more scale. First section is on technology, business, and design. Do I have any questions? No people questioning me. Oh, there, Young Moo. Okay, your sound is occasionally dropping out. Well, basically, I'm using a landline phone to talk by audio, so I'm using the best practice in technology. So if you see me dropping out, wave your hand. Thank you. Okay, good. Do what I can. This audio stuff, the 2018, the VGA adapter problem, it still exists. Okay. Design thinking and computational design. And look, good question from Eric Code 71. You see the field of cognitive science and design coming together. Thank you, area code 718. What I see is that finally, in the world of technology, we're trying to connect the long history of cognitive science, the ability to understand the mind, with actual design work. That's happening right now. You'll see a statistic that shows you where we have a lot of room to go, but that awakening is occurring. So thank you, area code 718. Okay, going back to the presentation, classical design, design thinking, computational design. All of you in this room, I think, are super advanced. So you know about computational design. I define it as 4 factors. Understands computation, thinks critically about tech, is more of a humanist technologist versus just a super nerd. Uses all 3 kinds of design because you can't just use one to be successful. And lastly, is open to new things. They actively learn AI. They're not afraid of new things. It's very important because some designers want to stay in the past, and this is not a good strategy, but it's good if you are rich. If you are rich, it is okay to do whatever you want to do, but it turns out that everyone isn't rich, so they have to learn and become new. And as a proof point of how computational design is sticking, this is a job ad for Nike, posted last year. It's already been filled for a product director of computational design. So who would have thought that this is a normal thing, but it's a normal thing now. Okay. The difference between a computational designer and a classical designer is very simple. A classical designer gets to finish something. How many of you have made a book before? Raise your hand if you've written a book. Raise your hand, book. You have to finish it. It has to be finished. So the thing about classical design or classical thinking in computational design, it's never finished. The blog post, half a year ago, it's like, whoa, it's kind of wrong. So I have to kind of fix it. So you have to kind of iterate and improve on it. So computational thinking doesn't let you think the old way. The old way is shipped perfectly. Shipped, and doesn't have to be great because you can learn. It's like this talk here, thanks to area code 718. That's changed because I'm incorporating information while I'm delivering it. Okay, what's a design thinker? A lot of people are confused about design thinking. It has a long history in industry. If you look back to the 1950s, there was the first vice president of design named Harley Earl, brought to GM this idea of design to improve products. And if you look to the next decade, 1960s, IBM was the revolutionary corporation that incorporated design into how it saw its business. Fast forward through the later decades, through IDEO, Frog, the Stanford D School, Roger Martin, and now if you look at design thinking, it's a very normal business practice today. Now, the problem with design thinking is that a lot of people don't like it, but it's producing a lot of value. So this is a chart that I produce every year of all the M&A, mergers and acquisition data. And what's important to note is that many of the new acquirers are consulting companies like McKinsey and Accenture and Deloitte. And you may know this company, Verizon. Do you know Verizon? Has little experience challenges. But Verizon just acquired a design company also as well. And so large corporations need to make better experiences today. Why is that? It's because of the advent of mobile phones. Because prior to mobile phones, people didn't have access to computers, and now everyone has access to computers. So that's why experience is mattering so much. But as I noted, classical designers tend to look down on design. They think it's sort of like a make-believe design. And this is a kind of bias in the design world that is never going to go away. I'm a designer, you're not a designer, but in reality, design thinking, it's quite useful. This is a list of medical schools that are now using design thinking in their curricula. And as one of the doctors there notes, Bon Yu, is dean there, he notes how, yes, design thinking is not design. And yes, in medical school, we've already been design thinking, having empathy for the patients, but we didn't have a language for it. So design thinking is helping the medical profession innovate, empathize. And so in many senses, those of you who look down upon design thinking, that's fine. But there are those who are using it very effectively. Go to firms today. Oh, okay, slow down. Okay, let's see. All right, design thinking medical schools, you got that one. Consulting companies are doing things beyond design thinking. They're doing rapid prototyping, doing artificial intelligence, and so the repertoire, the range is quite broad. Again, text me at this number. This group here is this is the East Coast, so you should have already had your coffee. So text me at 253-217-4017 with any question you might have. Okay, so also in this year's Design and Technology report, I introduced, last year I introduced China as a design leader. This year I'm bringing in India. And, most people in the United States aren't aware that, that USA is not number one. It's not number one. And, countries like India, who were able to leapfrog the desktop and just use mobile, are examples of cultures that have much more advanced practices around using things like technology, even though their technology may not be as good as my fancy laptop here. So I point out India. I also point out Latin America as another space of innovation for design, and China as well. I have a friend who designs in China, and he sent me a link to these 4 different car companies, and they're all Tesla class electric vehicle companies. And I've never heard of these. I'm not sure if you all have heard of 4 companies that are just like Tesla in China, but it's kind of surprising to me. And a lot of retail practices are evolving very quickly in places like China. But because we don't see them every day, I think we tend to have biases that assume that somehow Chinese are behind in this way. But their experience design is advancing the ways that I wanted to point out in the report. For instance, AI design practices are already deployed. Alibaba has a e-commerce piece of software called Luban. And Luban produced 400 million banners in one day. This is like e-commerce banners, with a 100% increase in conversion rate. because the Alibaba robot could make a banner that you would want to click on. And so this is being deployed at scale. And there's also a nice resource called the Design and AI Report in China. So check these things out too. By the way, all this information is available on Design and Tech Report. It's an open report, so if you search for it later, it'll pop up. Okay, scaling design. Okay, check the time. All right, I have 2 minutes left. Scaling design. I've been asking whether designers in the technology industry need a college degree. Most don't feel it's necessary anymore, and that's a red flag for universities today. A company is able to be successful when it has a good design culture, and I have an instrument available online. It's called the Cosmo Quiz. Those of you know what a Cosmo Quiz is? It's a Cosmo Quiz that I created out of McKinsey data. So you can see if your company or organization is designer ready. Another key factor in technology companies today is that design is used. What is the most important thing to leave you with? To close up, this is all available online. If you want to text me any questions, because I'm still here virtually, you can just right over here. Thanks for telling me you can't hear me. User research skills are becoming important. Product management skills are becoming important. And I have a framework for how to scale design in a company that's available, again, online. So you can find this all later. And lastly, for the very end, what I'm working on right now is the inequality effect. If you look at where design and tech is being done, it's happening in these two parts of the country, which isn't great because that isn't where everyone lives. And so what's happened is because of this, we have great inequality that isn't being addressed by technology people. And so a lot of my work now is to work outside the 5% and the 95% of people who are not skilled at computers. And I've been working across the divide. And I believe that remote work is a good paradigm. So people who don't have to live in Silicon Valley can work remotely. And this paradigm is something I'm actively pursuing. And I'm involved with this movement of remote work. And I'm involved in different parts of the country now in the US, like Kentucky, where there is poverty, and finding ways to connect technologies with them, to learn from them, because I believe that we've become so smart in technology that we've become dumb. And by becoming dumb, we aren't creating things that are good for everyone. So, to end, I believe that if we can take all that technology capability, become more human and understand the opportunity of inclusivity and see the market value of it, which is being demonstrated by Hollywood today, then what can happen is better design of technology, software, services, not just for technology people, the 5%, but everyone. Okay, I am done now. Young Moo. Where are you, Young Moo? Thank you.